Right, so get this. We've got Kansas City pulling off a win against Houston in the Simulated Sports Society.
Right.
And it wasn't just a close one. This was an upset.
Yeah.
25-24, folks. 25-24. And to make it even better, we've got the game summary right here with handwritten notes. I mean, this thing is screaming nail-biter.
You know, what I find really interesting about this game in particular is that Kansas City managed to pull off this victory despite what looks like, on paper at least, a pretty significant skill gap between the teams.
Okay.
Even got a quote here from one of the Kansas City players in the game summary. Get a load of this. Through sheer tyranny of will, we came together and executed our strategy to not only defeat our opponent, but ensure their fathers would be disappointed had they been there.
Signed, simply, James.
Oh, James.
Yeah.
That quote, that right there tells you everything you need to know about this game. This wasn't just about winning, my friend. No. This was about legacy. This was personal.
It's giving. Grudge match.
It's giving.
Grudge match. Where do we even begin with this?
And looking at this score sheet, it seems like both KC and HOU, they weren't afraid of a little gamble.
Well, it's a championship game, right? You got to go big or go home.
Exactly. High stakes, baby.
So we have a score sheet, looks handwritten, which is always cool.
And the final score was?
KC 25, HOU 24.
Whoa, talk about a nail-biter. 1 point. This had to be a game for the ages.
Oh, absolutely. In the world of SSS, a 1-point margin suggests a game where every single decision, every dice roll, had huge implications.
Okay, so you're saying this was a game of inches.
Absolutely.
All right, so let's break this down. What do we know about how this game went down?
Well, we can see that at halftime, HOU was actually winning 10-7.
10-7. Okay, so a decent lead, but not insurmountable.
In most games, maybe, but not in SSS. A 3-point lead at halftime in this game is anything but safe.
Really? Why is that?
Remember, we're dealing with cards and dice here. One lucky roll, one well-played card, and the whole game can flip on its head in an instant.
So even with a lead, HOU couldn't afford to get comfortable.
Exactly.
Okay, I'm starting to see how this game earns its reputation for wild swings. So HOU's up by 3, tension is high, we head into the second half, what happened?
Well, the score sheet itself doesn't give us a play-by-play, but you can practically feel the momentum swinging back and forth just from looking at these numbers. Touchdown for touchdown, the lead changing hands.
Yeah.
This was a real back-and-forth battle.
Wow, I can only imagine the trash talk going on at that table.
Oh, I'm sure there was plenty of that.
Absolutely. And you know what they say? It ain't over till it's over. And in football, things really heat up in the fourth quarter.
Couldn't agree more. And with the score as tight as it was, the pressure would have been on both teams in those final minutes.
All right, well, let's dive into that fourth quarter then. And speaking of pressure, it looks like KC had even more to deal with in that crucial fourth quarter. The injury report notes the right guard was taken out of the game. Man, that's gotta hurt, especially at such a critical point in the game.
Oh, absolutely. We're not just talking about any position here. The right guard plays a vital role in protecting the quarterback, especially that blind side.
Right, so losing him late in the game, with the score so close,
Could easily disrupt their entire offensive strategy. You're looking at rush plays, potential sacks. It throws everything off.
Now, this is where things get even more interesting to me. Glancing at these handwritten notes on the score sheet, it seems like tensions were running high.
Oh, like what?
Well, someone wrote, steady failed 2 Pete's. And then, get this, stupidity, way to fucking lose. Whoa, tell me this person wasn't a coach.
Well, let's just say it seems like someone might be taking their simulated sports society a tad seriously. But those missed extra points, though, it really makes you wonder if those ended up being the difference maker for HOU. Remember, we're talking about a 1-point game here.
You're right, every point matters. So maybe HOU really did let victory slip through their fingers.
It's certainly possible, especially in a game with so many strategic layers like SSS.
And what about this quote on the score sheet? Through sheer tyranny of will, we came together and executed our strategy to not only defeat our opponent, but ensure their fathers would be disappointed had they been there. It's attributed to a James talk about fighting words.
James clearly subscribes to the school of thought that in SSS, mind games are just as important as the action on the field, maybe even more so.
So we're talking calculated risks, unconventional plays. What could James have done to execute his strategy with that kind of ruthless efficiency?
It's certainly a question worth considering, especially given the circumstances.
Yeah.
This wasn't just about overcoming an opponent, but dismantling their spirit. Now, remember those 25-minute warnings we talked about earlier?
Yeah, the rule book mentioned those.
Right. Well, these are crucial moments in SSS, where time management can make or break a team's chances. Even something as simple as stepping out of bounds or challenging a first down can eat up precious seconds.
So every second counts.
Exactly. And if we connect this to the bigger picture, it makes you wonder if HOU mismanaged those final minutes.
Yeah.
Perhaps giving James and KC that unexpected opening they needed to capitalize. And those warnings aren't just about timekeeping either. They change the whole dynamic of the game. It's like suddenly a chess clock got added to the equation, forcing players to think even more strategically about every down.
So the pressure is really on.
Oh, absolutely. For example, imagine HOU is trying to run down the clock, but James calls for a blitz.
Risky move.
Very risky. But in SSS, there are specific cards that can counter a blitz. But if HOU doesn't have those cards in hand or misjudges the timing, suddenly what was supposed to be a conservative play turns into a huge gain for KC.
Wow, talk about a turn of events.
It's all about anticipating your opponent's moves and having the right counterplay ready.
And with the right guard out, James really had to dig deep into his playbook, didn't he?
He did.
Could he have used something like that hurry-up offense from the rulebook to gain an advantage?
That's a very likely scenario. Remember, a hurry-up offense in SSS isn't just about snapping the ball quickly. It introduces an element of controlled chaos. You can force your opponent into making hasty decisions, potentially leading to mismatches or blown coverages.
So you're saying he used HOU's conservative strategy against them?
Precisely. Plus, given that HOU might have been playing conservatively to protect their lead, this kind of aggressive tactic could have really thrown them off balance.
Wow, James really turned a potentially game-ending injury into an opportunity to outsmart his opponent. That's next-level SSS mastery.
It certainly is a testament to his strategic thinking.
I'm starting to see why this James fellow sounds like such a legend.
This whole deep dive into your score sheet and rulebook has revealed a fascinating narrative of clever tactics and psychological warfare.
It's like we just stepped into a sports thriller movie.
Well, we might never know exactly what unfolded on that tabletop. One thing's for sure. In the world of SSS, knowledge of the rules, anticipation, and a bit of tyranny of will can make all the difference.
True words have never been spoken. This was a wild ride. Who knew a single score sheet could be so revealing?
That's the beauty of SSS, always full of surprises.
Huge thanks to you for guiding us through the intricacies of SSS. You're a true strategist.
Anytime. Always happy to talk strategy.
And for you listening in, next time you think about joining the world of simulated sports society, remember, it's not just a game. It's a battle of wits, strategy, and maybe just a little bit of luck. Until next time, keep those dice rolling.